Hello everybody and welcome to Rather Than Be Perfect with me, Kim Sedlund. Today we're gonna start a new series here on the channel where we're gonna speed paint, and the first speed painting project we have are the orcs. I like the orcs, not just as an army, they're quite fun armies to play and to paint, and we will also do a bunch of conversions for this army. But I think it's a good army because it's one of those armies that people usually don't finish for some reason. Can be that you have 200 boys. But I'm going to show you a way to paint 2 minutes per point orcs from start to finish. We will start off with the Warboss. First, before you start painting, you really need to check your model and see all the special little details that you need to paint. And decide which paints you're going to put in each location. With the orcs it's quite easy, the skin is always green and we'll have blue armor. Then the first step is of course rattle canning the model. I chose Macragge blue, and then I just topped it off with wraithbone. And then we're going to paint the orc flesh. But what you do now when you paint the green on the skin, you first paint one area green, and then afterwards you will clean the brush and start pushing the contrast paint. Like you can see here, I'm pushing it to the side, and all of a sudden we can see the upper part of the head. Then we'll do that on all green skin. If you find it difficult to push the paint, then just skip it, and then you can paint it over with wraithbone in the later stage, because we're using wraithbone as the base paint. So that's all the green done. Now we go over to the armor and we use another contrast paint, Talazar blue, which I like quite a lot. We will do nothing special with it here, we will just apply one thick coat to the entire model. You could use the same technique as we did on the green skin, where you push the paint from areas that you want to be brighter, but I didn't feel it necessary on this model, because we will be weathering it quite heavily afterwards. And we're also planning on having some white details painted onto the armor. Don't be too careful. You can paint over things that's gonna be another color later. So just remember to keep on the speed, and this is the most time consuming part. But it's also quite important to get all the base colors in the right area from the start. And now when we're done with the blue, we will go over to painting all the silver. We will use lead belcher straight from the pot. You could also use lead belcher as a way to ship your models by painting a little bit of it into corners and other places that are a bit weathered. But I choose to do it another way. But painting it that way would actually save even more time. Grunta fur to paint all the leather. It's not much leather on this model, but we have the loincloth, the pants on the Gretchen on the top, and some straps on his hands. Then we're going over to skeleton horde. We're going to use that for everything else, like the strap on his axe. And we're also going to use it to shade every single ball on the white areas, because the skeleton horde leaves a quite soft transition from white to brown. So you don't really need to thin it down or anything. You can take it straight from the pot and then just start painting. Now we're going to start painting the details with wraithbone. The good thing about the orcs is that they have quite simple patterns, like triangles, squares. I also decided to do some flames on one of the sides. The good part with this, you can practice, and if it doesn't end up well, then you can hide your mistake with weathering. Now it's time for Rhine Oxide. This will be the base for all my weathering. I will take Rhine Oxide and then I will kinda stipple it. I will just paint lines, small ships, the other weathering patterns all over the model. I make some of them bigger, some of them smaller. And now I take a little bit orange and just make dots into the brown so that it looks a bit rusted. There are several ways to do rust. This is just one way. The important thing is not to take too much orange. Or you could also just take Typhus Corrosion and dry brush it with Troll Slayer orange or something similar, and you will have a similar effect. Now it's time for the Nuln Oil. It's the paint that needs no introduction. We will apply Nuln Oil to everything silver, and we will also put it into every single corner of the armor, just to make it pop a little bit more. And now it's time for transfers. I have been an opponent of transfers for so long, and I don't really know why. Because it's a great way to add some extra details quickly to a model. What I did there was just double check which ones would go well with my color scheme. And then I choose a few of them to put on shoulders, a skull on the axe, and then something just to make the knees more interesting. You wet up the transfers, apply it where you want it, and then after it's dry, I apply a thin coat of matte varnish just to seal them in. And then I wait for it to dry before I keep on painting. Now I do some more shipping. I usually do shipping after I apply transfers, just to ship the transfers as well. That makes them more. It helps them to blend into the model. I think I also painted the eyes in this step, because I'm already using orange. Now we take one of my favorite contrast paints, the Black Templar. Its main use is for his pants and his boots, but I also use Black Templar to hide any accidents that might have occurred. Like if there's a detail that I don't feel bothered doing, then I will just Black Templar that over, and then I call it a day. brush in violet. I didn't use that for cables. I could have used it as well in the shadows of this model, like put it in under the arms and on armor plates, but I decided just to put it on the cables this time. Some more null oil on the new silver parts that I painted. It's a good idea to go back and forth between paints at this late stage, just to make sure that you got the paint. If you see something you missed, then paint it straight away. Cardboard Crimson, I'm going to use this and a hard brush to splatter red paint onto the axe to make a quite nice blood effect. It didn't end up so good on this model, but I've had really good results other times. Another round of Wraithbone just for some highlights and things that I've missed earlier, like teeth. Skeleton Horde to make a little bit of a soft shadow on some silver. Final round of Ork Flesh to fix parts that I've missed. Red, this was a last minute call. I just decided to spray some red on there. A brighter red, just to make some more interesting effects. Now I finally decided that I need to paint the boss pole. Here I go painting the eyes, a little bit of red, and then I do a little bit of orange later. I don't remember in which stage though. Warped bronze on the exhausts. I would actually recommend doing a little bit of null oil as well, but I skipped it. And now some final fixes. This is just to clean up the model, highlight eyes, highlight teeth. If you've done everything as you should, then this step should be a short step. And finally basing. I decided to use Vallejo acrylics. They will take about 6 to 8 hours to dry. So I will just apply some flock and paint the rim black, and then it will be done. Thank you so much for watching until the end. This was our first video in the Painting the Orc series. I'm not sure if we're fully committed to this format, but it will do for now. So please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. So thank you so much for this time, and hope to see you soon again. Bye bye.